Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Continuing our discussion on Vividisha Sannyasa. Vividisha, let's remind ourselves, Veditum Ichha, the desire to know the Atma fully, and the desire to know the Atma fully doesn't happen until and unless we make a little bit of space. And that space, is what we are discussing. And again, Swami Vidyaranyaji says that there are two dvividham. There is two types of Vividisha Sannyasa. One where you take, which is also described in the Bhagavad Gita, one where you take the formal sannyasa rites and you accept the robes, orange robes and the staff, and lead the life of a mendicant, a renunciant. The other one is an internal sannyasa where you take recourse to certain values, attitudes, and you do some kind of you grow into an internal renunciant. This is what we are discussing. And here what we saw that there are 5 types of, and the discussion is not yet complete. So today we will finish that and you'll have a better understanding. So we already saw that there are 5 types of karmas that one does, and of these, kamya karma is to be minimized and then let go of completely. Kamya karma, nowhere is it said it is selfish. There is no word selfish there. Everything is selfish, meaning it's for the sake of oneself alone. Kamya karma means an action which has the force, the vega of desire behind it for some goal in life. Nowhere in the Shastra is it mentioned that the Kamya karma is bad. That is not what we have to take away. In fact, the whole first portion of the Veda is only Kamya karma. How to get rich, how to get famous, how to keep enemies at bay, inimical forces and inimical people and all these things, how to succeed, and what is it that you need to succeed, however, how do you need to get that. All these things comprise the first portion of the Veda. Nowhere is it said Kamya karma is bad or is it selfish. There is no derogatory association with Kamya karma. But what are we talking about? We are talking about how that can be the Kamya karma if these personal goals and ambitions and desires, especially when the desires take over, can and often is a deterrent to spiritual growth. That is what we are talking about. And so if If kamya karma is your goal, go ahead, no problem. No, only thing is you have to follow dharma. That is what the Shastras say, and I'll be talking about a little bit more about the connection of the type 1 Vividisha sannyasa, being a sannyasi at home, so to speak, and its connection with dharma. That will be the bulk of the discussion today for this class. But before we get into that, nowhere is it said kamya karma is derogatory, bad, selfish. No. It is just that it does not have a place when it is when the primary goal is moksha. When the primary goal is moksha, then kamya karmas become secondary. When the primary goal is kamya karma, moksha becomes secondary. That's all. That's all we have to see. There is no judgment about that. And whether one is seeking moksha or whether one is seeking kamya karma, it is important to grow in dharma. This is what is not emphasized here in the text. I could not at least see whatever I have read. In this, I cannot see it. And so therefore, it is important to emphasize that, because without that, the discussion will be incomplete. So the whole idea of sannyasa, the type 1 Vividisha sannyasa, that which you take for your own spiritual growth with your own sankalpa, staying at home, not really accepting any accoutrements of renunciation. Whatever you do, that is for your own personal growth and to be able to understand the Shastra. And reducing and eventually eliminating all kinds of desire-based activity is what is advised. Along with that, what is also advised is growing in dharma. Dharyate iti dharma, that which upholds. How does it uphold? First of all, dharma means a universal matrix of norms, kind of agreed upon by everybody, no matter what time, what place. This is dharma. It's not that it is wrong to commit murder now, but then 300 years ago it was okay to commit murder in one particular country. No. Whether we are talking of time or space, place, this is universal. Dharma is universal because it is based on the human longing. That is why it is the first Purushartha. The first thing to be pursued is dharma, because it is in keeping with the human yearning to be treated fairly. That's why as soon as somebody treats us unfairly, what happens? All the defenses are up. There is hurt, there is frustration, there is fear, there is anger, all these things with a perceived unfairness. So dharma is to address that longing for fairness. And how do you make sure that other people treat you fairly? Do you have a way of controlling their action? No. How do you make sure? You make sure by treating the other people fairly yourself. This is how dharma is ensured. You help somebody when they are down and they help you. You open the door for somebody and extend a courtesy. They open the door for you. It doesn't have to be, tit for tat, because it's not that you open the door for person A and then person A should only open the door for you. No, it could be person B. It could be, it just goes around and comes back. This is called samanya dharma, based on the basic yearnings of what it means to be human. And what it means to be human is to not want to be defrauded, is to not want to be cheated, is to not want somebody to lie to me, not want to get hurt by somebody. These are all basic human needs. And you can't keep going to the state for that, although there are state laws enshrined. So therefore, what do? You make sure that you do to others. This is what is called some gold rule or something. Golden rule. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. And then what? Do not do unto others as you do not want them to do unto you. This is what, ensures harmony in the society, this dharma. And it's not just for the people living in the world, it is also for those who want to be sannyasis, who want to have this type 1 vividisha sannyasa or type 2 or vidvat sannyasa, whatever it is. This is what dharma ensures spiritual growth. Not just leaving kamya karma. Dharma, it should be backed by dharma. That is what is, ensures emotional maturity. So, at the very outset, the broadest manifestation of dharma is called samanya dharma. Samanya means the same. It is the same everywhere. Wherever you go, there are laws against defrauding, there are laws against homicide, there are laws against thieving, taking away somebody else's property. There are laws against being an imposter, identity theft, etc. All these things. This is all samanya dharma. To ensure individual rights, the Shastra has a very ingenious way. And what is that way? We focus on one's duty. My duty towards you automatically, well done, means that you get your rights. Your duty towards me, nicely done, makes sure that I get my rights. This is how it is. It's a duty-based culture, and dharma is already there, folded into the 5 types of karma. Because everything, the nitya karma, has to be done as one's dharma. And so that's a slightly different iteration of dharma. We'll see that. But first, the broadest manifestation, we can think of it as a huge circle, one circle. And inside that are all these rules. Do not cheat, do not defraud, do not kill, do not, And unlike in the West, in Western religions, these injunctions are seen as commandments of God, mandates of God. For us, dharma is a manifestation of God. There is a very big difference. It's a manifestation of Ishvara. Ishvara's middle name is dharma. More dharma in my life, more Ishvara presides, more peace, less conflict. So it's not a mandate, it's a manifestation. So this is samanya dharma, one big circle. You can think of it, and then you draw a circle within a circle. You draw a slightly smaller circle, and in that we put another iteration of dharma, which is time specific and place specific iteration of this samanya dharma alone, which is called Vishesha Dharma. Vishesha Dharma, or a special expression of this Samanya Dharma based on time and place. Like how, like for example, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Non-violence is the greatest expression of Dharma. Somewhere it is said in the Shastra. And then you find that the doctor, wielding a scalpel, cutting through somebody's abdomen. Is that violence or not? Yes, it is. Definitely is violence. Because it takes so long to recover after the surgery. But while, we get upset at somebody coming and stabbing. We are okay with the doctor doing this. In fact, we pay him or her a big fee for committing this ahimsa, this himsa. We pay them a big fee. We send them flowers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The surgeon. We applaud them after the operation. Why? Because, yes, there is himsa, but it is for a greater good. It is to save the life. It is to excise a poisonous, toxic tumor from the body. So this is Vishesha Dharma. Samanya Dharma only it is. But then it is to save life, not to take away life. That is why it's a very important exception. And similarly, other examples or iterations of Vishesha Dharma include things like, speed limits. Speed limits, are there. In every country it is there. And you can't go to another country and fight and say, in my country the speed limit is 75. Why is it only 50 here? I am a citizen of this country and I am going to follow the laws wherever I am. It won't work. This is Vishesha Dharma. Time specific, space specific. Not so much right or wrong in the absolute sense. That is the realm of the big circle, Samanya Dharma. Vishesha Dharma more concerns itself with concepts of appropriate and inappropriate. Appropriate and inappropriate. It's just certain things one does, which one follows, not because one has to, but because one can. In this country, and many parts of the West, somebody passes away, you are invited to the funeral. What do you wear? Black. Yes. In India, same thing. Somebody passes away, you decide to go to the funeral. What do you wear? White. So let's say, I am from India and I am living in America and somebody passes away. I decide to attend the funeral, memorial, whatever it is they have. Then I assert my national identity, my cultural identity, my religious identity, and say, I am going to wear white and only white. And then I present myself at the funeral. Am I breaking a law? No. I can't be put into jail for wearing white when everybody else is dressed in black. I'm not breaking a law. What am I doing? I'm standing out like a sore thumb. And I'm taking away the attention that really belongs to the bereaved person. I'm putting that on me. In other words, I'm causing a disturbance. This is Vishesha Dharma. You don't cause disturbance needlessly. What does it take to wear black? Oh, but I don't have anything black. Okay, wear something dark colored. Navy blue or something dark. You go with the spirit of the feeling here. Wear grey, wear something dark. And so this is exactly what Vishesha Dharma is. Appropriate, inappropriate, and then it takes its cue from Samanya Dharma alone. Do not cause harm. Ahimsa. Do not cause himsa. Because the harm is not just physical, like in the stabbing example or the operation example, but it is also emotional. You can cause emotional hurt. You can hurt somebody mentally. You can hurt somebody by your action, by your look, by the way you present yourself. All these things are avoided in order to grow spiritually, in order to mature, to gain this knowledge. Very, very important. One is extremely mindful of how one presents oneself. One is extremely mindful of one's dress. One is extremely mindful of one's mannerisms, so that you don't disturb. Pujya Swamiji would always, when he traveled, he could not help dressing how he was, how he dressed, because he's a sannyasi and he will wear orange. And then a man in orange robes is not understood very well by society, especially in the West. And so he would always have the seat right next to the door of the aircraft, in the window, 1A, or whatever the seat was on the other side, he would have. He would choose that seat whenever possible. And then somebody asked him, "Why do you like this seat, Swamiji?" He said, "It's not about liking the seat. It is so that I can just sit there and not cause disturbance for the people who are walking by, because I'm already seated and I'm there, and then they don't have to deal with me in the other parts of the plane, and I'm just already, taken the seat. I cause as little disturbance as possible." Once somebody took Pujya Swamiji to an animal sanctuary, and there was a couple along with their 5-year-old child, and the parents, who did not understand what sannyasa means, they didn't understand monk, they didn't understand robes, nothing. They said to each other, "Look at all the lengths people go to get attention." They said loudly. The child was innocent. The child heard its parents, but it didn't internalize the judgment that was there. The child went up to Swamiji and said, "Why are you dressed like this?" And Swamiji simply smiled and said, "Halloween has come early." Non-disturbance. Non-disturbance. And this happens to all of us. Once the customs, they said, "Okay, we want to look in your bag." I said, "Look." They said, and looked. Nothing was there, just clothes and books, whatever it was. And then the customs agent said, "Oh, you sure love orange." Because everything there was orange. Everything in the suitcase was orange. She looked orange. This side also she looked orange. And people start giving you orange things also. Orange comb, orange brush, orange this, orange that. And then, "Boy," she said, "you sure do love orange." I smiled and said, "Yeah, what else to do?" This is not the time to sit and explain, "Oh, what do you mean I love orange? This is called sannyasa, and this is sannyasa type 1.A, or 2.0. You don't. This is not the time to sit and explain all this. Just smile, be pleasant. Don't take it seriously and don't take it personally. This is what is Vishesha Dharma. This is the iteration of Samanya Dharma in particular times, in particular places, how it articulates. And you just follow that, because it is also a manifestation of Ishvara. You are in tandem with Ishvara. How many circles do we have? 2. One big circle inside another circle. This is Vishesha Dharma. Samanya Dharma is the big circle. That is what decides what Vishesha Dharma is. Vishesha Dharma is the iteration of Samanya Dharma in special places, times and circumstances. Then inside that Vishesha Dharma, you draw one more circle. So we have 3 concentric circles. Circle within a circle within the circle. The smallest circle is what is it that you are meant to do in this life. It is called Swadharma, the most misunderstood and the least understood concept. Swadharma. Why do you have this body? Why do you have this mind? Why are you gifted with this particular individual expression? What is it that you are supposed to achieve? What is it that you are supposed to get? What is it that you are supposed to want? What is it that you are supposed to? How are you supposed to contribute? Because this is not just a waste. There is a reason why you look like this. There is a reason why you have certain propensities and talents. So what is it that you have to contribute? This is Swadharma. Some people are very talented in certain areas. That is Swadharma. And it is noticeable at a young age. A child with no musical antecedents, the parents cannot even carry a tune, but the child is very musically inclined. Mozart at 9 months composed something. When he couldn't even talk, he was humming. It shows up. It shows up early in life. And the parents, nurture that. For the most part, nurture that. Bring that out. Some people good in sports. Some people good in doing something. There was one very frustrated father who came to me once and said, my son only wants to keep cooking and making chapatis. At age 5, he was rolling out perfectly round chapatis. At age 5. And most adults, when they start rolling chapatis, it looks like the map of India. But here he was rolling out wonderful chapatis. And his mother did not know whether to encourage him or say, just go play. He wouldn't go play. And then at age 8, he started to season all the things. And he would cut things and they were afraid to give him a knife. But they gave him a play knife. And even with that, he would cut everything so symmetrically and everything. And the parents were very frustrated. They said, oh no, what's going to happen? Is he going to be a house husband when he grows up? He's not interested in anything else. I said, let him be a chef. What is it to you? No. In India, you don't become a chef. I mean, maybe recently, but this was about, 20, 30 years ago. You either become a doctor or engineer. You don't become a chef. And that's not, and then of course they'll say, oh, how can he earn his money and what can he do and everything. But then, Bhagavan won ultimately because the boy refused to do anything else other than cook. That's all he was interested in. Now he's managing a very big hotel, very successful, very, amazing chef. So, like this, there are certain talents that express themselves despite the parental discouragement. They express. Sometimes one, just by how one looks, transforms other people. There was one person called in India, probably still alive, called the tree man. He has some kind of a disease. All kinds of warts grow like branches. He really looks like a tree. And then every 6 months or maybe 1 year, he has to go in for surgery. And then they remove the most painful, the biggest growths. They're not painful, but the biggest ones that are coming in the way of his daily living. And then he comes out of the hospital, and then again they start to grow. Some of them are very aggressive. So they remove the ones from the face and from the hands so that at least he can have some functionality. But then there has been so many articles written about him, and he's a very calm person and everything. And just seeing him the range of emotions that goes through other people's minds, and how they overcome that, and how they get to a place of compassion and understanding. So just by being who he is, he can't help all these having these growths. Just by being who he is, that itself is teaching others. So this way, that the individuality is not discounted. It is put into the service of the Lord, because from that Bhagavan alone this was gained. We have an expression in Hindi, Tera tujhko arpan. You give that back. You give whatever has come, you give it back. You make good use of it. So, this is what is called Swadharma. What is it that is meant for me to do in this life? And even though it seems puzzling and difficult, it's not something to overthink. One overthinks only because there is some sense of resistance to Swadharma. That's only when one overthinks. Otherwise, there is nothing to think about. Swadharma is what is in front of you, what is being given to you. If there are children, that means you are a parent, father or mother, that is your Swadharma, partly your Swadharma. Swadharma is include many activities, not just one. If you are good at something and you are fortunate enough to have a job in that arena where you can contribute, Swadharma, wonderful. Grow in that way. Do what you are good at. And whatever is there, you're interested in something, you have an idea, and you think you can carry it, you think you can make something out of it. You don't even know why you're doing it, but something is calling you, pulling you. That is also Swadharma. Oh, what if it's a mistake? Come back, try again, simple. Not a problem. But this is Swadharma. And these three iterations of dharma lead to another definition of Karma Yoga, which we have been discussing. Under a slightly different rubric, we have been discussing Karma Yoga as a preparation for sannyasa, vividisha sannyasa, the sannyasa which desires to know. And so this dharma, these three inviting, imbibing, assimilating and living these three iterations of dharma in one's life as an important sadhana is a crucial component for Karma Yoga, for self-growth. So there are two aspects to Karma Yoga. The first one is called Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Both of these aspects are discussed in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna. The first one is Samatvam Yoga Uchyate, which is what we talked about yesterday. Receiving the results of action as prasada buddhi, with an attitude, this is prasada from Bhagavan, and that equanimity is called Samatvam. Because there are only 4 kinds of outcomes. Whatever comes, I take it with a grain of Shraddha. Yes. I take it with Shraddha, with a sense of acceptance. What if I can't accept? Then I will ask a question for you. Can you accept your non-acceptance? Something to think about. And if to that also you say, no, I cannot accept my non-acceptance, then I will ask you, can you accept the non-acceptance of your non-acceptance? And just to get rid of me, you will say at some point, yes, I'm happy. That's how you start. You start by accepting the non-acceptance of the non-acceptance. Then what else is left? Then of course you will grow to accepting the non-acceptance. And if you have accepted the non-acceptance, that is acceptance, is it not? Yeah. Tricky but true. You have to keep tricking the ahankara. Otherwise it'll do a number on you. And the Shastra shows you how to do a number on the ahankara. That's how it is. Goddess Lakshmi, that is how she dealt with a terrible, a sage, a rishi, who had terrible anger. And I permit the satsang question that is forming in people's minds. If you are a rishi, how can you have anger? Please ask that tonight, okay? I will talk about that. In other words, we won't talk about it now. His name was Durvasa. Durvasa means difficult to live with. Yeah, literally. And that is a euphemism. Difficult to live with. And I can't imagine any parent naming their child Durvasa. Because the child is, is small. How can it be difficult to live with? Even if it cries a lot. I think he must have been named Suvasa, but then after he grew up and how he behaved, it got changed into Durvasa. Same thing with Dushasana, badly behaved. Duryodhana, insufferable. So I think that they had other names and it got changed because of how badly they behaved. So Durvasa was always angry. He went to Vaikuntha. There also he couldn't sit quietly. And he kicked Lord Vishnu in the chest. Right in front of Goddess Lakshmi, the celestial consort of Lord Vishnu. Shakti of Lord Vishnu, Maya is Lakshmi. Shakti of Lord Vishnu. Right in front of her. He kicked him in the chest. Another factoid, Durvasa, due to his unswerving, unwavering devotion, had a boon, had a little eye. He had 3 eyes, but his third eye was not here. His third eye was on the sole of his right foot. He had an eye, and that was the eye that was able to foresee what would happen in the future. It was the eye of foresight. It was a gift from some devata, I forget. And Goddess Lakshmi had an interesting reaction. She said, "Oh, revered sage, the foot with which you kicked my husband, it must be paining because he has a very strong chest. Let me massage your foot." And so she took the sage's foot in her hands and massaged the foot. And while massaging the foot, gouged the third eye from the foot. Because obviously he was not deserving of this boon. Third eye was ahankara. That is what it is. His third eye was ahankara. So he gives the foot because he feels already good. He expects to be scolded, to be driven out of Vaikuntha. Here he's being given a glass of juice. And then the goddess herself is saying, "Oh, give me your foot, let me massage your foot." This is how to trick the ahankara. So back to this. Samatvam yoga uchyate. The first definition of spiritual growth, karma yoga. Taking what comes with equanimity. And it's very difficult to take what comes, the karma phala, with equanimity. That's why we go through the elaborate mental ritual of dedicating all actions to Bhagavan, bringing in Bhagavan as the proxy actor. And then saying, if you are the actor, you have produced the results of action, and whatever comes from you is prasada. This is the setup for samatvam, equanimity. That is one definition of karma yoga. And there too, again, this kamya karma is talked about. Kamya karma with the results of kamya karma, meaning actions done for deeply desired results. pursuits in life. It's harder to be objective, is it not? It's when the results come, it's harder to greet them with equanimity. And that is why the second definition comes. Because otherwise, this first definition of Karma Yoga is incomplete. And let me illustrate why. Supposing you have a person who says, or does he or she say, the person they say, oh, I am a Karma Yogi. How? How do you say that? Well, I have found out how to break into the neighbor's house. Neighbor is very wealthy, has a lot of money. And I also found out that the neighbor has a safe in the house. And once I saw him putting a lot of gold bars in the safe. So, I'm going over there. I'm a Karma Yogi. I'm going over there today. I have already found out certain routes. I know the code how to disable what is that called? Some system of security. How to disable that I know. I know the code. I have hacked into his house. And then I know what to do. Only thing is he keeps going to the bank once in a while, so I don't know how many bars are there in the safe left. And I'm okay with that. 1 bar, theek hai, prasada. I'll take it as prasada. 10 bars, wonderful, prasada. No bars, prasada. If I go behind bars, prasada. And then he asks you a question. Am I a Karma Yogi? What will you say? No. It doesn't sound right, correct? Yeah. Prasada buddhi is there. So they ask you, am I a Karma Yogi? Well, no. That is why we need this other definition. Yogah karmasu kaushalam. And this is always badly translated as skill in yoga. It's not skill. It is how to apply dharma in my actions. That is kaushalam, kushalasya bhava. Why the word kushala is used? It is from the Veda. Kushalanna pramaditavyam. First, dharmanna pramaditavyam. Kushalanna pramaditavyam. Taittiriya. Kushalat na pramaditavyam. May one not swerve from this mindful application of dharma in my daily activities. There is no Ishvara here. There is no dharma here in this particular example. So therefore, even kamya karma has to be done with dharma. The results of kamya karma have to be accepted with dharma. Because of dharma. And if you are desiring to study Vedanta, when we say reduce kamya karma, it is these personal ambitions. I want this, I want that, I want this. It's not about country, it's not about giving up swadharma. That is not how it should be taken. Swadharma is not given up. Swadharma is your place of contribution, your place of helping others, your place to shine, your place in the sun. That is Swadharma. Your own special talents and challenges, all that is Swadharma. That is not given up. It is refined. So, what is that? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. So one becomes a person like Dasharatha. What is Dasharatha? The father of... Oh, yeah. Why is it taking so long today? Yeah. Haven't you studied the Ramayana? So, father of Lord Rama. he had a wife, Kaikeyi. And she was responsible, great lady, really, amazing. She was responsible for him winning a very big war against the Asuras, some kind of demonic miscreants who were troubling the Brahmanas and not letting them pray, do yajnas, etc. So they had to be disposed of. And in the middle of the battle, the chariot, axle of the chariot broke. And if the chariot is down, it's as good as you losing the war. And Kaikeyi was driving the chariot. Amazing. It's hard enough to drive the chariot on a regular road, but imagine driving the chariot in a war, deflecting it away from the arrows and then advancing when needed. This is what she was doing. And all the arrows, before they come to the Dasharatha, her husband, they are going through her first. Whizzing arrows. She has to guide the chariot in between the shower of arrows. And then while she was doing that, impossible as it might seem, she bent over and held the axle with her fingers so that the chariot could still be operational. So one hand she's bending over, another hand she's guiding the horses. And somehow in this way the war was won. Dasharatha was bowled over and said, just ask for anything. 2 boons, whatever you want, ask. What did she say? I'll take a rain check. I don't want anything right now. I'll take a rain check. And she was okay. And she did not even think about the boons, neither did he. Except just a few hours before the coronation of Lord Rama, who was the heir apparent. And he, they elaborately decked up the whole of Ayodhya for this coronation. And everybody came, all the neighboring kings, everybody. And 1 minute, Dasharatha was just going and around and seeing how all the arrangements are done. 1 minute he finds his wife Kaikeyi choosing what jewels, what sari she is going to wear for the function. And then 2 minutes later, he is informed that she is in the anger management room, behaving madly. Yeah, in those days they had some kind of a transparent room so that you could see that they did not harm themselves, but this was a room where they could rave and rant and vent out their anger safely. Kopa Bhavanam it was called, literally. Anger room. Yeah. And he was surprised. Just now she was okay. What happened? What went wrong? What's going on? And then he was informed that she got influenced by her nanny. She had brought a nanny who had taken care of her since childhood. And the nanny said, what is this? You're going to stand by and let your son be overridden and Rama be coronated? She said, Rama is also my son. There is no difference. No, he is your stepson. And somehow she got influenced. And under that wrong influence, she acted like a mad lady and threw away her jewels, tore off her clothes, and was in the anger management room. And Dasharatha went to pacify her. And she said, I want the 2 boons now. 1 boon, I want Bharata to ascend. Bharata was her son. I want Bharata to ascend the throne. Other boon, I want Rama to be sent off to the forest for 14 years. I want him to be sent off. And Dasharatha was flummoxed. He said, by all means, let Bharata, even Rama will not object. That's not his nature. Let him be coronated. But why this terrible punishment for Rama? She said Because as long as Rama is here, nobody will accept Bharata as king. That's why he should be out of sight, therefore out of mind. And this is what. And Dasharatha was overly fond of Rama, the firstborn. His heart resided in Rama, and he fell at her feet. He cried, he pleaded, he cajoled her, he got angry, and he said, please, he tried everything. He said, please don't do this to me. I will not survive Rama going into the forest. 14 years. I mean, in those days, no SMS, no email, no forest log cabins where you can go and relax and come back. Who knows what will happen? You could end up inside the stomach of a tiger. Yeah, that's what it was. Lunch, finished. Royal lunch. Very nice. And so there was no way. Forest beasts, they would never come back. And that was Kaikeyi's hope, I suppose. 14 years, long time. He did everything. But she did not budge. And that is how we have the Ramayana being what it is. But really, he was the king. In him resided the executive, legislative and judicial branches of the government. That is what, after all, a monarchy is. All he needed to say was, what boons? I don't remember no boons. Shut up, get dressed. You are coming to the coronation. Then we would have a very short, slim Ramayana. All he had to do was that. What boons? I don't recall no boons. But he was incapable of doing that because of how deeply dharma had been internalized. And this is exactly what it takes. In the beginning, dharma is followed deliberately. One catches oneself saying something that one need not say. One catches oneself behaving in an insensitive way. One catches oneself after one has done something, and one catches oneself sometimes before or as one is doing something. This kind of a dharma, swadharma especially, brings out mindfulness. Even though mindfulness is associated with the Buddhist tradition, it has come all from Hinduism. This is mindfulness, the sensitivity to just take a look and see, where is it that I may be causing disturbance? The sensitivity to Vishesha Dharma, to one's own Dharma, and Samanya Dharma. We keep talking about carbon footprint. How to leave a small carbon footprint. This discussion is about how to leave a small adharmic footprint. Yeah. This is what it is. This is what it takes. Then the discussion of Karma Yoga is complete because the Dharma, the first Purushartha, in all its manifestations and all its iterations is followed very, very, faithfully. In the beginning it is deliberate because one is used to might is right. You can't sit here. Why? Because I am sitting here. This is my place. Why? Why is it your place? Because I reserved it. Oh, you reserved it. I didn't know that. Well, now you do. Get up. Is this behavior wrong? Not necessarily. You are asserting a right. It's not wrong. But there is a little growth possible, is there not? You go into some place, somebody else is sitting. naturally, all the hair stands on end. There is anger, there is irritation, there is annoyance. How could they? This is my place. Don't they? How can they be so blind and stupid? Don't they see my things right next to that? Don't they see my book? Don't they see this? How dare they? See what kinds of people come to Vedanta ashram to study Vedanta. Look at this. How will they understand Vedanta if they are behaving like this? Judgment comes, anger comes, annoyance comes, intolerance comes. But if one is able to breathe, if one is able to say, perhaps they didn't know, or even if they knew, give them the benefit of doubt. Well, they came and they sat. They came, they sat, they conquered. Okay. How would it be one day to just go there simply, not say a word, just take your books and belongings and sit somewhere else? What would that take? It won't take much, would it? But at the same time, it would accomplish a whole lot. You benefit from this action. The other person is not benefiting. They are already sitting where they wanted to sit, for example. They are not benefiting at all from this exercise of just going unobtrusively there and removing your belongings and taking another seat. There is many places to sit. So in this example, you're the one benefiting. Because that little tsunami that you had earlier, the inner tsunami of seeing the person sit, and then what has been accomplished is that you're not behaving in keeping with that tsunami. You're behaving contrary to that prakrita buddhi. Prakrita buddhi means bestial nature. Here you are choosing to do samskrita buddhi. Why? All because the class may be about to start, let us say in this example, and then I don't want to cause any disturbance right now. So I just remove and go sit somewhere else. It's okay. And then when you do that, your main purpose was to not cause disturbance. And why did you not want to cause disturbance? Because you're interested in Vedanta, not in causing disturbance. That's not your primary focus. And so therefore what? So you grow, you benefit. The other person is also very happy. The other person also, if they are, little bit sensitive, they'll say, oh, I'm so sorry, were you sitting here? They themselves will offer the seat next time. I didn't know that. Or even at that moment. So this is how dharma is followed deliberately. Dharma is very, very sophisticated. It is very, very fine. Sukshma, subtle. It's not always like, oh, do not kill, do not cheat. Here there is no killing or cheating involved. But there is an appropriateness, there is a non-disturbance there. And in following this appropriateness and in causing this non-disturbance, you have grown. This is karma yoga. You do this not for others, but you do this for your own growth. And in the process, everybody benefits. You definitely benefit. Everybody benefits. Few more examples on how this text goes further. We'll catch up at 11:15. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaga Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.